Scott, thank you for joining us. That's a nice way to end the season with a win. Can I get your thoughts on the game first?
Yeah, just it's a funny feeling, really. We go down with 1 point to spare, so I think that's the frustrating thing for me. I think to debrief the game, I thought we were really good today. We were dominant with the ball. We made near on 700 passes. Do you know what I mean? We played so well. We created a lot of chances. Disappointed with the goal we give away because we wanted to come away from today's performance with a win, obviously, but also another clean sheet. But wasn't to be. But really pleased with the performance. Another win. It's important that we get that winning mentality now, moving into next season. And on reflection, what we've done, certainly since I've come in, we were 9 games to go, 12 points behind. To say that we've finished with 1 point off, it's almost hard to take in many ways, because I should be really pleased with that, but I'm kind of frustrated the fact that we didn't just do enough to stay up. But it is what it is, and we've give everything. I've certainly give everything I've got in my body to the club in these last 9 games. The players have. They fell short on a number of occasions, only a number, very small number as well. But we've done great. For 9 games we win 5. What's that? 55% win ratio. It's that's top 7 form. I know it's not won in the last 9 games. I get that, but I'm really pleased with what I've done. Don't think we could have done any more, but it's heartbreaking that we're only 1 point away.
Yeah, sadly for many, I suppose it will go down as a season of what ifs. But as you've touched on in the interviews before this game, you can only control what we can control in these last few games. And if we're going to go down anyway, we're going to go down fighting. And it's been good to put a little sort of bit of momentum. Although we've got a long summer ahead, it's good. It's good to get that sort of winning feeling back, to tackle it into next season, isn't it?
No, we're 4 unbeaten, and I'm taking that into next season. That's what we're going to do, But no, listen, let's go away. It's been kind of a long season. I've started the season as the Crawley manager, left to go to MK Dons. Things didn't go right there for whatever reason. I come back a better manager because of that period of time at MK. I've learned loads about myself, loads about other people as well, mind. And got good people around me here in terms of my coaching staff, and people in the background, and it's been kind of a tough season, really. And I think the disappointment is of the fact that we know how much work was put into to get into this division. That's the bit that's really hurting. The fact that we were at Wembley last year, and this time last year we were getting ready for the playoffs, and we're celebrating against Grimsby, weren't we? And knowing that we were in there and getting ready for the playoffs and all that was really good kind of vibe about the place. And for us now to be relegated is hard to take, and it's been tough. But I've got a family holiday booked, which I'm looking forward to, and I'll go on that and then start. We've already started putting plans in place about the recruitment side of things, and a lot of work needs to go in to make sure that we have a squad of players that are capable of doing good things next year. And listen, when you look at the team now, it's not far away. It's not far away at all. We probably need to maybe add a few, and hopefully a few of them boys in there will stay. I think the lads have enjoyed it. I think they've enjoyed it. But listen, it's a long season, it's a tough season, and we find ourselves going down a division, but there's lots of positives to take from it. Like I say, the way we've played in these last games I think it's been a credit. Our players have been brilliant, and I've enjoyed my time, like I say, but it is what it is. It's over now. Let's go on our holidays, relax a little bit, and then get to work again very, very soon.
Yeah, excuse me, I was going to ask, how early does the work start in trying to keep some of the players here? I think this has almost been like a mini audition potentially for the start of next season. As you say, the team's probably not far away, but do you think you're going to have sort of a hard task in your hands trying to convince some of the lads that we can have a real crack at it and, have a good go next year?
Yeah, Yeah, we've already started them. We've already started them conversations last week, and we've got meetings on Tuesday as well with other players, and that's kind of ongoing. But like, yeah, we're working really hard. I'm desperate to keep some of them boys in there because I think that we'll be successful next season, and I think that they've liked how it's been. I think they've enjoyed how it's been in these last 9 games. I think they've enjoyed playing in that style of football. I think they've enjoyed the way we've coached the team, the way I am. I think as a manager, I've tried to make it a really happy environment. I think players have enjoyed coming into work, and that's what I've tried to create. And hopefully, some of them players will really buy into that and stay. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't even have to mention names with the obvious ones, but it's not like a traditional sort of summer where we'll be convincing players from, around the corner to stay. We're going to be trying to convince players with, big geographical differences to want to stay at the club as well. So, again, I don't have to mention who they are, obviously, but it would be great to see some of the likes of those stay, wouldn't it?
You mean Jeremy Kelly, aren't you?
Yeah, and Liam Fraser, yeah.
Well, 2 great players for me, I'd swim the channel to keep them both. They're both great players, and we'll have to work really hard to keep them both, obviously, and we want them to stay. It's down to me to try and convince now. Got to get my magic wand out and try and put them in a trance so they do stay. But let's see. But yeah, for sure. Listen, 2 great players, great lads as well, winners, and both of them are becoming almost like Crawley legends now. Jeremy obviously from last year as well. The fans knew what he did and was part of that promotion-winning team, and I think both of them are becoming almost like legends of Crawley now. So we're desperate to keep them both.
Yeah, finally, obviously we spoke about how tough it's been, obviously finishing 1 point outside of it, but on the flip side of that, we were able to give the fans one last victory for the season. Great numbers today, amid the circumstances, already down. They've come in their fancy dress. It was great support, wasn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Even the bit where they took their shoes off. I don't know if you saw that, did you?
Yeah.
I nearly took mine off, but I thought I better not. But no, they were outstanding today. Like the numbers, like to say that we've got relegated, and they turn up in them numbers and sing like they did, and like a brilliant kind of they give the players a real kind of good send off there. I thought that was excellent. Best fans in the country, in my opinion.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Jeremy, thank you for joining us. Difficult circumstances because at the end of the season we go down by just a single point, but it's a very strange feeling, isn't it? Because it feels like a club that's been on the up in the last few games since Scott's come back. Can I just get your overall thoughts on that first?
I think we're proud of how we finished the season. Obviously, the whole season hasn't gone the way we want it to, but in moments, I thought we've been superb. But again, we probably only have ourselves to blame, and we've left so many points on the table. I know we can all think of certain games that we should have gotten 1 or should have gotten 3, and we just let it slip. So it's tough to think about those moments when you only get relegated by a point. But I think for the most part, we know we had a group that was good enough to stay up, and that hurts even more. But we can be proud of how we finished the season.
Yeah, how's it been, obviously, working with Scott again? We know the relationship that you two built, obviously, in his first spell here and obviously the first season you were at the club. And I suppose even more for yourself now, it's obvious to see the impact Scott has on the club and, what's it been like in the dressing room?
Yeah, I think it's tough whenever you switch managers, for personal reasons, but we all know what Scott brings, and I think everybody can tell that there was a difference since he's come in. And Scott just has a connection with this club and us as players, and he gets us going. He has a charisma about him. He has authority, and tactically he's very good, and we will play for him. So there's something special that he has with this club and with a lot of us as players, and so it's been fun. And I think we've had fun, even though we know we were close to getting relegated ever since he come in, but it never felt like we were going to go down, and we always believed, and up until last weekend, and so that's something special and something only he can bring to this club.
Yeah, exactly. And I think obviously in your short spell in English football, you've obviously had a promotion and a relegation, and we've all said the feeling around the club isn't one of a typical relegation, because it feels like with Scott back in the building, the club's only on the up, and you've seen what he can do in League Two. So we'll be hoping to sort of replicate that next season. So it's something to give the fans a boost as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, and especially the way we finished the season on a bit of a high. But when he's in charge, you've got every chance. And some people were saying last year we got a little bit lucky, but we deserved it. And I think this year has shown that we should have stayed up, and next year we'll give it a good go. And there's a lot to be hopeful for with Crawley Town.
Yeah, and obviously for yourself on a personal level, obviously had a great season last year. Have had another solid season this year. You've obviously added some more goals recently as well. How pleased are you that you've been able to show that you've not been able to do it just in the 4th tier of English football, but the 3rd tier as well? Because it must have been, a tricky transition, obviously coming here the first year, adapting to that style of play, and then it's almost a different league, isn't it, the next season? So you must take immense pride in that.
Yeah, I think anytime you go up a league, you wonder what it's like, and until you play a few games and get settled, you don't really know if you belong. But I think we showed pretty quickly that we belonged in the first 3 or 4 games, won our first 2, and should have won a few more. And so that kind of settled the nerves, and we knew we belonged. And personally, it's been fun to play some of these teams. You play the Birminghams, and those are special occasions. And so for me, it's been a special year playing at the MX and, some really hallowed grounds of English football. So I've had a blast this year, and it hasn't always gone the way we wanted it to, but I've enjoyed playing with these lads and playing with Scott and his whole backroom staff. I really couldn't have imagined this happening, getting promoted, and then playing at some of the grounds and with some of the players I played with. So it's been a really special experience.
Yeah, you've obviously built a special relationship with the fans as well, and obviously have some nice moments there. And obviously, as I touched on, you've already sort of added a couple more goals. So that must have been pleasing as well.
It is, and it's always fun to hear the fans chant your name or whatever the chant is that I won't say here.
Yeah.
But and we can always hear it. We might not make it known that we can hear it, but we can hear them. And even the fans that travel to Shrewsbury, some of the longer distances, that's just absolutely amazing. And that only happens here in England. And the goals, it's always fun. I just have to be a bit more aggressive and get in the box, and I've been doing that a bit more lately. So it's fun to get a few more stats up on the board.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeremy.